What's up guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gadgetry. Now today we're gonna do our first build log. It's my brother who's gonna upgrade his PC. So before we go ahead and start, let's take a look at the components that we're gonna install. So for the motherboard we went with the STRIX Z270F gaming motherboard. Now the F motherboard is the entry-level STRIX series motherboard. So it has a good price-performance ratio and hence we chose that one. For the hard drive, or the SSD, we went with the well-known 850 EVO 500GB version. It has also a very good price-performance ratio and it has proven its performance. For the processor, we went with the i7 7700K. Now my brother, he games in 1080p, hence we need fairly high frequencies on the processor to get those frame rates, so this should be a good choice in this case. For the memory, we went with some standard Corsair LPX 16GB 3000 MHz memory. The graphics card, we went with the GTX 1080 Advanced Edition from Asus. Now with the introduction of the 1080 Ti's, the 1080 graphics cards has dropped in price quite significantly. So hence the difference between 1070 and 1080 was not that high. So we went with this one. For the PSU we went with the well-known EVGA Supernova series. Now I've only tried the G2 before and this is the G3 version, so I'm quite interested in seeing how this one performs. Should be a good choice as well. Now for the CPU cooling, we went with the Corsair H115i. I've only got experience from NZXT Kraken series before, so I'm interested in seeing how this one performs as well. And lastly, for the case, we went with the NZXT S340 Elite White Edition. And this is the smallest ATX case that I could find, and it looks really good as well with the tempered glass here on the side. And they have shrunk it and hence removed the hard drive cages and CD-ROM drives and so on. You don't need that anymore. So that's the components that we're gonna install, and let's go ahead and start the build. So we are almost finished with the build, with installing all the components. We've got the SSD here, we've got the Corsair liquid cooling here installed, we've got the memory, the CPU of course, and we've got this power supply in here. And we're just about ready to start to install the graphics card. So let's go ahead and do that. Have it. It's always so satisfying. Alright, so we are just about ready to wrap this up. We need to tighten the graphics card and then I think we should go ahead and start it up for the first time and see what we have forgotten. Very nice. So this is my brother's old computer. This is what he is throwing out. Look at this. What is this thing? I don't know if I want to open this one. And see what it looks like. Oh, look at this. Look at the cable management. What have you done with this thing, Martin?
It's old, man. I was a young boy.
So we are ready to start it up for the first time. We have plugged it in, and as you can see, at least the motherboard has power. So Martin, I think you should go ahead and start it up.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Let's see if we can get a picture. I saw something. Right. Seems like it's working. We should be able to get into BIOS anyway. Alright, so the build is ready. We are up and running in Windows. But before we go ahead and take a look at what the computer looks like, let's run some quick benchmarks before and after overclocking. So we're gonna overclock the CPU and the GPU and see how much we can gain on that. So let's start with the first test, Cinebench in non-overclocked mode. So the CPU should run in 4.5 GHz and we have the CPU temperature monitoring down here. So let's start. So in the first run we got a score of 961 and let's do one more round and just verify this result. So a score of 980 this time, more or less the same and fairly decent temperatures of slightly below 70 degrees down here. Now let's go ahead and run Unigine Valley in Extreme HD preset except full screen and yeah, let's go ahead and start. Alright, so we reached a score of 107.4, sorry, a FPS of 107.4 and a score of 4494. Her GPU temperature was stable at around 65 degrees and for some reason I can't see the GPU clock, so I should probably change to MSI Afterburner. Let's see how this computer performs in overclocked mode, both for the CPU and GPU. So now we're back in Windows. I've tried to overclock this CPU and I've managed to get it stable at a V-core of 1.27 in BIOS, 1.264 here, and with a CPU frequency of 4.8 GHz. Now in non-overclocked mode we reached 980, so let's see what we can reach with a clock of 4.8. Alright, so we reached 1038. Not that big of a difference, actually. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what we can do with the graphics card. We reached a stable clock of 1971 on the GPU and 11,000 on the memory clock. So let's go ahead and see how this performs in Valley. Alright, so we reached a score of 4878 this time with a stable temperature of around 65, 66, 67 degrees and the core clock seemed to have stabilized around 2063 megahertz. So pretty okay. Alright, so that's that. Now we are finished with the build. We have verified its overclocking capabilities. In the Cinebench we increased our performance by about 6% by jumping from 980 up to 1038 in score, and in Unigine Valley we gained about 8.5% by jumping up to 4850 from 4500 approximately. So I'm fairly happy with the build. It looks very sleek and stylish. I'm gonna show you some footage after this so you can really take a look and see what it looks like. Now Martin, have you had a chance to play any games on this one yet?
Yeah, I've been playing some PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Did you notice any difference from the old dusty, dirty monster?
I mean, that computer I played on very low. Now I'm playing on Ultra.
Now you're playing on Ultra?
Yeah.
Good. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments about this build and would like to know anything in particular, please let me know in the comments below, and see you next time.